It is my pleasure to be here, everybody. As you know, 7 minutes with 7SIGNAL. It's where we take a little feature in 7SIGNAL, we unpack it and show off how it has a huge impact. So let's, and I'm really excited that Lee and others are on the line here because I want to show you what we have in store here. As you guys are aware, inside the Sapphire Eye is a spectrum analyzer. What does that mean? Well, let's take a look here. Okay, so you should be able to see this now. And what we've got are all of the different settings, right? So you can see all of the different settings where our spectrum analyzer can look at 2.4, look at 5. We can look at a line chart, a waterfall, density, 3D, okay? And the really neat thing, guys, is that we're storing 2 weeks of spectrum data in the cloud for you. Now, this is amazing because, as you know, I mean, interference comes and goes, jamming comes and goes. We don't, it kind of shows up and then it disappears. And so it's like trying to catch a ghost. And so by having a Sapphire Eye in an area and just letting it run and gather all of this spectrum data, you can actually go back into your little 7SIGNAL time machine and you can actually see, whoa, what was going on in the air at that time in this area. Let me show you what I'm talking about. First, I want to show you what good looks like, especially on 2.4. So look here, this is the line chart, and this is channels 1, 6, and 11. Okay, so you can see how the Wi-Fi energy rises here on channel 11, and then here's the 20 megahertz wide channel, and then the energy falls. Okay, so that's what good would look like on 2.4. From a waterfall standpoint, this is what good would look like on 2.4. And again, if you can't see, let me zoom in a little bit here, but time is on the y-axis. I'm looking at a few days, a whole week of Wi-Fi spectral analysis data here. And you can see how channel 1 here is used a little bit. Channel 6 is used a lot more. Channel 11 is used a bit. And it's nice and cool and blue in between. This is great stuff. All right, now let me show you what bad looks like. And this is where I'm really excited to maybe get some opinions in the chat, or maybe even Lee chime in with his thoughts as well when I get to one in particular signature that I am having trouble just scratching my head trying to figure out. So here we go. All right, so we just showed you what good looked like. This looks terrible on 2.4. All right, I don't see those 3 humps, that signature at all. All right, now and we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 Sapphire Eyes that this is the signature coming back from. Now let's go to waterfall. Okay, let's check this out here. So here's the waterfall chart on 2.4, and you can see this is channel 11, this is channel 6, and channel 1, you can't even barely make out the Wi-Fi signature underneath because of all of this interference that's taking place. Now, typically, I would say, wow, I think this is Bluetooth interference, but I don't think it is. And the reason why I don't think it is because normally I would see, this is over here on the right side, guys, this is the BLE, this is the little advertising channel for Bluetooth that we see right here. We also see that little thin stripe from top to bottom here. If it's Bluetooth interference, I usually see those light up red also, indicating that there's Bluetooth kind of in effect in the air. But when I see this here, it scares me. It's a little bizarre. Basically rendering channel 1 and probably channel 6 pretty much unusable. All right, let's keep going. Here's another one, okay, where, I mean, it's the same thing. And this is where I can't, again, I'm looking over here for the stripe and I don't see the up and down, the BLE kind of like lit up like I normally would see it lit up. And so this is pretty bizarre. Okay, here's another one. And then here is one where 2.4 isn't used at all. Okay, you ready, guys? I'm about to get to 5 gigahertz. This is going to freak you out. So here we go. So this, okay, I would not consider, any kind of jamming or weirdness. This kind of looks like 80 megahertz wide channels in effect, quite frankly. Not a big deal, not a big deal. And over here, you can see the 20 megahertz wide channels. All right, here, this looks really normal, really normal. These are 20 megahertz wide channels. Again, from the beginning of the day to the end of the day, we're waterfalling down, and the Wi-Fi spectral slug, it's leaving its trail behind, so we can see the energy. All right, guys, here we go. What the heck is this? This scares the living daylights out of me. And I'm looking at Lee right now, and I'm like looking, you know, at his pensive glance at this chart. And I'm very curious as to what he thinks. This is why this scares me, guys. I'm gonna give my opinion, and then maybe Lee, you can even chime in with yours. But what scares me about this is that it's running completely across these Uni 1, Uni 2, and then it disappears into the black hole of licensed spectrum on 5 gigahertz, but picks up right where it left off on the other side of the black hole and continues to go all the way across. If anybody was on Wi-Fi at this time, I have no idea how they would ever be able to do anything. And this is happening periodically all throughout the course of the day. This is frightening to me. And Lee, if you're out there and your microphone is on, I would love to get your opinion. I don't know what it is, but this is like cause for alarm and investigation, further investigation, in my humble opinion. How about yours?
It looks pretty funky. I know the earlier stuff, I'm thinking some kind of frequency hopping, old, maybe
Could
old
be Bluetooth.
stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, I was thinking even maybe old frequency hopping Wi-Fi or whatever, but you know, I'm just scratching my head. I'm thinking, you know, is it not radar, obviously, because that's going to be much more discreet, and I just don't know. I mean, to keep it short, I don't know without giving it some thought.
Not a problem. Not a problem. It's you know, you see this in your environment, and once again, I think it's a little bit of cause for alarm. Now, continuing down here.
I don't
Go
know
ahead.
what channel. I know the channel fly can be pretty funky. I don't know if it looks that funky though.
Right. Well, if anybody else has any ideas, then please put them in the chat for us here. And again, this is not necessarily abnormal. This looks like, you know, maybe 2 80 megahertz wide channels, or maybe somebody trying to do 160 megahertz wide channel. It's not using the full channel width, of course. All right. And then down here, the other thing that we have built into every Sapphire Eye is the 3D spectrum analyzer. So this is the 2.4, and you can kind of see the spikes. Let's get down to that one Sapphire Eye. Here's what it looks like, guys. This is 7SIGNAL Sapphire Eye number 11, where it's just cutting across, and it is just hot to trot. Not only that, one more thing I want to show you is that we also have a density spectrum analyzer built into the Sapphire Eye. So I can go down to that Sapphire Eye, and I can actually see, okay, just how hot it is and how disruptive it is. So here you can see, just, you know, it's not very noisy. And then down here, and then one more. Is this 7? Okay, so once again, with the density spectrum analyzer, we're actually able to see, you know, how much, you know, just how loud and how powerful it is, which is really nice. But let's go back to this. I want to end this on our one more time right here on this and show everybody what normal looks like. Okay, so if you're looking at a spectrum chart, this is what normal looks like. And then here we see something like this. You know, again, we know where this Sapphire Eye is, so we would go to the area in question and, quite frankly, you know, start that fox hunting, start looking around to see what we can see. Is there some kind of point-to-point communications taking place? I don't know. But, you know, that's what we want to talk about today. You know, remember, guys, with you and me, we can't see radio. We can't see it in the air. But with 7SIGNAL, you can. So there you have it, and that's our time for today. I want to thank everybody for joining us. Take it away, Don and Heather.
Thanks, Eric. And Jonathan dropped in the chat that he said it could be a wideband 5 gigahertz video sender. I don't know if that resonates with either of you gentlemen.
I've never seen one use that many channels, but you know, that's as probably closer than anything I would have come up with just sitting here staring at it, but that's a lot of bandwidth to sit on.
Yeah, and Chris said that it could be a TX at a very high power level.
Yeah,
but what he would do is, he said he would put a few more eyes in that area and do a poor man's location and narrow down where it's coming from.
Sure.
Chris Kelly, of course.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And
all right.
There's also a chat question in chat around Wi-Fi 6 being included in those options as well. Yes, 7SIGNAL is working on our Wi-Fi 6E sensor as well. We're calling it our Project Milan. behind the scenes, so you get access to that. But that'll be out mid next year. We are running into the same chip radio shortage that everyone else is running into in the manufacturer world, but hasn't slowed down timing. We did get a good jump on it. And of course, if you are a customer, our subscribers get those sensor upgrades for free with their renewal. So with that said, thank you to Lee, thank you to Heather, thank you to Eric from all of us. Thanks for joining us today, and we'll see you all next week.